being in London brings me on to our first story, Mark, because
Oh
yesterday
yeah.
when I was in London, as I said to you, I walked out with a sandwich and a coffee, and the two or three people, as they walked past me, were just looking at their phones. They had no idea I was sort of walking towards them, and it was that situation where I stepped left, they stepped left when they eventually realised in front of them. Then I stepped right, but they were still more interested in their phone.
Yeah.
And look, I've been guilty of that. I try and be a little bit more conscious that I don't do that, but I'm sure I've done it. When your head's spread, maybe they were looking at the walking app, but it didn't look like it to me. Because
Mm.
normally took people a bit more of a confused look. But with people and their phones, I find that all rules are generally broken when people have
Mm.
got their phones, and the same coming for selfies. So
Yeah.
much so that they're now a public health problem.
It has become a
And
public health problem. Well, apparently, over 300 casualties occurred in barely a decade, cementing the practice of selfie taking as a legitimate public safety crisis requiring
hmm,
urgent solutions. Obviously, 300 casualties is a lot. I mean, it's basically 8 years that what they're saying. So it's not as bad as smoking, I guess. But it's still kind of crazy.
yeah,
Um,
I mean,
the amount of
yeah,
people that are doing this, and
yeah, I mean, I came across this. It's an American site that sort of came our way. We
yeah.
do our research, but it comes from the National Library of Medicine of all places, and they did some comprehensive uh, search for keywords such as selfie death, selfie accidents, selfie mortality, selfie photography deaths.
Yeah.
All right, coolfie deaths. I don't know quite know, mobile
Uh,
deaths, accidents, and they gathered this information from news reports regarding selfie deaths. And they said that from October 2011 to November 27, there had been 259 deaths while clicking selfies in 137 incidents. And the
mm.
mean age what would you think would be the average age of that person? Would you say?
Well, I'm guessing it'll be younger people.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be younger people. I think it'll be, I don't know, 20 somethings, 30 somethings, even the
Mm,
teenagers, maybe. I mean,
yeah.
teenagers, you'd think you'd have, no, especially lower teens, you may have parents with you half the time. So perhaps not so much them, because
Mm,
hopefully, unless parents are doing the same thing. I mean, they could be in their
mm.
30s, I guess. So,
Okay,
uh,
so the average age is actually 22.94 years, so 23-year-olds.
23
Okay,
year olds. Okay.
right. Okay. Now, out of the survey they did, do you think it would be more males, or more females, or do you think it would be an
Hmm.
even split?
Well, I'm going to go for the sit on the fence safe option and go even splits because I don't know.
You reckon it right? Okay. Well, 72.5% of the total deaths occurred in males, and
Ah,
20
there we
and
go.
27.5% in females, which
Right.
I find quite surprising. But the highest, this wasn't just a US survey. This is the highest number of incidents and selfie deaths has been reported in India, followed by Russia, United States, and Pakistan. Now, I can understand India because India is chaotic.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's that all rules seem to be broken there when it comes to driving, walking in public places and everything. So I can understand that. But the States,
Bit
Russia, I
like
don't
driving
know.
in London. Sorry.
Yeah, and it says here, drowning, transport, and fall form the topmost reasons for deaths caused by selfies. So drowning, transport, and fall. Okay,
Yeah.
they're the topmost reasons for deaths caused by selfies. It says we also
Well, I
classified.
can understand the fall thing because
Mm,
you can there's a lot of, and I can understand that. Yeah, that makes more sense that males now, because I mean, I don't know, you often think selfies women take, don't you? I mean, that is the
mm,
stereotype, I guess, which is
that's
why I
right.
wanted to go
Yes.
even split. Um,
Yeah.
but no, I mean, I can understand because males are the ones who are climbing trees more, I guess. I mean, I know this is another stereotype. I'm not saying it's just all men. I'm sure women do it too. But you know, the rock climbers, the testosterone led idiocracy That tends
Well,
to be the males of the species, doesn't it? To be
yeah,
honest.
but and in fact, you've hit the nail on the head there, okay? Because it actually says that risky behavior. It says we also classified reasons for deaths due to selfie as risk behavior or non-risky behavior, and it says risky behavior caused more deaths and incidents due to selfies than non-risky behavior. It
Yeah.
says the number of deaths in females is less due to risky behavior than non-risky behavior, while it
Yeah.
is approximately 3 times in males, which is pretty much what you were saying there. You know, males are going to take more risks. But it says their
Yeah.
conclusion was that no selfie zone areas should be declared across tourist areas, especially places such as water bodies, mountain peaks, and over tall buildings to decrease the
Uh,
incidence of selfie-related deaths. So no selfie zones should be declared across tourist areas. This is what the National Library of Medicine in the US is saying.
I think that's an overreaction. Okay, I do. I think. Okay, first off, when me and my wife went to New York, there are a few tall buildings in New York, and we took some selfies on these tall buildings, and we're still here. So
Mm,
and there's you'd be very you'd do well to fall off the Rockefeller, to be honest with you, because there are a lot of glass screens, and it's very difficult
mm,
unless you're climbing on it.
yeah,
But then you shouldn't be climbing on it.
yeah,
It's not the selfie that's killing you; it's the climbing that's killing you there.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I also think to have selfie-free zones is a little bit over the top, considering, and I know it's 300 too many, but we're talking about what, 8 or 9 years. 300 people have died because of this. We're
Mm,
not in the thousands.
mm.
Um, don't get me wrong. I mean, every death is appalling, of course it is, but is it enough to have no selfie zones? I don't know. Maybe some signs saying, be careful, but also I think I think maybe the responsibility should go to influencers and the people who have a lot of followers doing this kind of thing, saying, look, get those awesome pictures, but do it safely, guys. You know,
Mm.
how many drinking campaigns have we had when the run up to Christmas? Drink safely. Even the whole gamble aware thing. I mean, I'm not a big fan of gambling, but where when the fun stops, stop, and all that kind of
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you could do so if this is becoming a real problem. I think that would be more effective, to be honest with you.
Well, the thing is you said something that was quite interesting. You were saying about, what it's 300 deaths and it's 300 deaths too many. And you were saying, it just one death is, but it's like that age old thing, isn't it? That one death is a tragedy, 100 is a statistic,
Well, yeah, no,
right?
yeah, you
And
are
it's,
right. Yeah.
and that's what this is. This is statistics, but it says here that, and I don't know if you remember this, but I can't remember the actual image, but I do remember the story. It said the first time Google search engine got a request for selfie deaths is in January 2014, when the death of a Lebanonian became the tragic viral sensation after being killed by a car bomb moments after posing for a selfie. But it
Whoa.
says selfies are never reported as the official cause of death.
Well, no, I'd say the
Yeah,
bomb is.
and it says it is believed that selfie deaths are underreported and the true problem needs to be addressed. For example, certain road accidents while posing for selfies are reported as death due to road traffic accident. And now I
But
can
how are
believe
they
that
taking?
because,
Yeah, but how are they taking photographs though? So who's taking the photograph in those roads? Is it the driver? Is it the driver that's taking a selfie whilst driving and that's causing the road accident?
no, but the thing is, I think people just not paying attention. I mean, it's the same as people just, you can see them, they're talking to somebody on their phone and they're looking down. They're not even looking where they're crossing these
Yeah,
days. You'd see that all the time thinking, just that person just completely walked past me and just totally oblivious that that
yeah.
person's just cut me up, and that happens all the time. So it's the
Texting
phone
whilst
that's,
walking is a ridiculous
yeah,
thing to do.
yeah. So it's not necessarily just, yeah, it's, as you said, it's texting, it's sending messages. It's not just
Yeah,
about photo, it's not just about the selfie, it's the phone that's the issue.
yeah.
And out.
I mean, one of the things actually that combats this. I mean, we're kind of going on selfies a little bit. Is that I don't like texting that much, really. I prefer
Mm,
to call people. So
hmm
if you are walking around, let's say in London,
mm,
don't text, call them. I mean, the
yeah.
thing is called a phone at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what it is. Going into this report that they did, it said here that it says the causes of selfie deaths, along with the respective deaths and incident cases, have been elicited in a table where they're showing it says drowning, transport, and fall form the top most three reasons for deaths, as we said, caused by selfies. It says the most common drowning incidents include washed away by waves on a beach, capsizing of boats while rowing, clicking selfies on shore while not knowing how to swim, or ignoring warnings. Now, you could say that actually it's not knowing how to swim and ignoring warnings. Now, the
Yeah,
ignoring warnings thing is when you're buried, your head's buried in your phone, that you're oblivious of all the warnings.
yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, and it's a
I
similar
agree.
for
Yeah.
transport. It says it is majorly the accidents due to clicking in front of a running train.
Mm.
Among all the reasons for death, drowning and fire have the highest deaths incident ratio. Almost most of the self-related deaths because of firearms occurred in the United States. It just,
Yeah.
this really breaks this down. And again, it says
I
risky
mean,
behavior
it's
cause.
in some respects, I'll just say this. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned this. I think I have mentioned this to you before. I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the podcast before, but there's
Mm.
someone I know who's in IT, and they have a certain type of complaint which they call picnic. And
Right,
picnic,
yes.
yeah, picnic stands for problem in chair, not in computer. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of this, when he's, he's saying people don't know how to swim, or people not paying attention, or not obeying the rules, or I mean, people are the problem here. It's not the selfie, it's not the phone, it's people being stupid.
Mm.
To be quite honest with you, if you can't swim and you're in a boat, what are you doing? I mean, you
Yeah,
should you should
yeah.
you should have a life jacket on if you're in a rowing boat and you can't swim.
Yeah,
Uh,
but yeah, no, I totally agree with you. But the thing is, they're more interested in getting that picture and putting it
I
on social
know.
media to say, "Hey, look at me," And we were
Yeah.
talking about the age. It does say it says the total number of casualties and incidents is high for 10 to 19-year-olds and 20 to 29 age group. The
Mm,
highest is the latter one, the 20 to 29. Then it says then it decreases as the age range goes up. It is expected because people tend to be less adventurous as they age.
yeah.
This is evident from the fact that the reasons for casualties in higher age group range are animal, fall, unlike electrocution, drowning, firearms, and so on in a younger age group.
Yeah.
Interesting story.
It's an interesting story.
It's the
I
way
think
life is going.
I think the message is all you who are listening, I'm sure, are incredibly sensible individuals. Just if you want to take the selfie, take the selfie. Just don't be silly. You know what I mean? Just if there isn't a fence by the cliff edge, maybe just take a couple of feet away from the cliff edge. Just simple things that will stop me from falling, drowning, burning, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to.